Tonight on Holmes, a New Zealander's account of the most talked about, most photographed love affair ever. Debbie Gribble watched firsthand as Dodi Al-Fayed charmed Princess Diana, watched as they first became friends, then ultimately lovers. Tonight she tells her story on television for the first time. Also that consummate TV performance, but did Hillary Clinton's damage control work? Did she convince America there was no infidelity and no fibs? And the feelers from Christchurch gearing up for stardom, training to be rock stars.
I do have a pair of leather pants. That's compulsory. I think everybody in a band, just everybody should have a pair of leather pants.
Very good evening. Debbie Gribble, a 28-year-old Auckland woman with an amazing story to tell. A story of romance and intrigue. In fact, the stuff fairy tales are made of. Debbie was stewardess on the Al-Fayed's luxury yacht, John Akal, the Mediterranean hideaway where romance blossomed, where Dodi Al-Fayed and Princess Diana became lovers. Debbie shared some intimate moments with Princess Di. In the end, she was offered a job overseeing Dodi and Di's personal affairs. But as we all know, fate intervened and Debbie never got to take up that job. Now, finally, 5 months after the tragedy, she feels comfortable enough to talk about the romance as it really was, as she saw it. Tonight, Debbie Gribble, confidant to Di and Dodi, talks to Brent Fraser.
Fairy tale world of princesses, wealthy London playboys and Mediterranean love trysts. All this during her time as chief stewardess aboard the Al-Fayed yacht.
I was totally stunned, to be honest. I mean, I was really stunned. I just couldn't believe it. I thought, wow, she is, you know, one of the most famous women in the world, and she's sort of here on the yacht.
Princess Diana brought her William and Harry. Debbie says they were great kids.
And they used to come down to the cruise mess all the time and just kind of wander in and help themselves to the freezer and take the ice cream out and put it in the bowl and, you know, go away and eat it and come back for some more and then wash their plate up. They were just like really normal teenage boys, but very polite.
These are the only television pictures of Dodi, Di and Debbie together. They were climbing aboard the Al-Fayed jet for the final flight to Paris. Debbie Gribble kisses the yacht captain goodbye and follows Dodi and Di up the stairs. Diana was a princess amongst princesses and perhaps the most recognised woman in the world. But Debbie Gribble saw another side, a humble side.
I mean, when she arrived on the yacht, she always came with one small bag, and that was it. And she travelled very light. She just came with basic necessities, never wore any makeup, walked around in bare feet, just totally relaxed and, you know, like anyone would be on holiday. She didn't bring her ball gowns or her jewels or anything.
All the time, Debbie and the other crew had to remain totally discreet.
How did you know that the relationship between Dodi and Di had become quite serious?
They just appeared to get on so well and so brilliantly. Whenever you saw them together, they were constantly engrossed in conversation and laughing and joking, and they just seemed like so natural together and so happy.
Just 2 weeks later, the Princess and Dodi were back on the yacht for a second cruise, a secret cruise, an intimate one, no families and no friends.
One of her first comments when she came on board the yacht for her second and third visit was, "Oh, home sweet home." She really loved the yacht.
By then, Debbie was gaining Princess Diana's confidence. She told Debbie she couldn't reveal her exact whereabouts to her sons, William and Harry.
But she'd been speaking to them on the phone, and Prince Harry had asked her, "Oh, where are you?" She said, "Oh, well, I'm in Italy." That's all she could say, she said. She said, "I can't tell him because he'll tell everyone." So, you know what kids are like. You can't keep secrets from them.
Di also spoke of her disdain for the paparazzi.
I remember her saying one day there was a photograph of her foot in the newspaper in a tabloid, a British tabloid, on the front page. She said, "I can't believe it. They're analysing my foot." No matter what she did, actually, she would have always been watched closely.
However, Diana was always prepared to take a chance with the paparazzi. 3 days into the secret cruise, and Diana decided to go ashore in Sardinia incognito.
The princess asked me how she looked, because she was convinced she'd be spotted. So she had this kind of hairband on and dark sunglasses. But, I mean, how could you not notice a woman as glamorous and elegant as her? I think anyone's head would turn, really.
And of course heads did turn, and one was an Italian photographer. It was his photograph which alerted the world to the secret cruise and a blossoming romance. Princess Diana shared other confidences with Debbie, her concerns about her figure.
She said to me, "Oh, Debbie, I can't wait to get to the gym, because, you know, I've been doing all this, eating all this fabulous food on the yacht, and really relaxing and having a nice time." But she said she has to go. She's a person that has to go to the gym frequently.
There was a third excursion on the Al Fayed yacht, a 10-day cruise. Nothing secret about this one. The paparazzi was everywhere. Debbie says it took its toll on Diana.
It was clearly something that the whole world were just like eyes on watching them, and I think it really became a bit much. And there were occasions where I saw her, you know, quite upset over that.
Was she crying?
Yes, yeah.
But Debbie says despite the constant attention, the relationship between Princess Diana and Dodi had become stronger than ever. This was definitely a love cruise.
We cruised straight away and served them a nice meal. So they had romantic dinners every evening, and it was just obvious that, you know, that they were together, I suppose.
By now, the cruise was into its final 3 days. It was the first anniversary of Diana's divorce from Prince Charles, and she was ready to celebrate.
So I said, well, I'll bring out the champagne, and it was kind of made into a little joke.
It wasn't just Diana who celebrated. Dodi offered Debbie a job. As the lives of Princess Di and Dodi became intertwined, so did their affairs. They needed a personal assistant. Dodi handed that responsibility to Debbie.
Basically, that would have meant working alongside his butler, and in this new relationship with the late Princess of Wales.
Debbie was thrilled, a great honour.
That evening in Paris, I wanted to phone home, and I spoke to my mum. I said, "You'll never guess I've been offered this fantastic new job as a personal assistant to Dodi and Diana." And she was excited as I was. But then, of course, the next day, I had to phone her back and tell her the bad news, but she already knew.
What was going through your mind the moment you were told?
I just couldn't. It was like a bad dream. I just couldn't believe. It just, you know, it just wasn't possible.
The night of the fatal accident in Paris, Debbie and the other staff members stayed at Dodi's apartment just off the Champs-Élysées. They last saw Princess Di and Dodi alive at 7 o'clock the previous evening. The following morning, Deborah had the most unenviable task.
I had to go and pack her belongings back into her bag. I mean, she hadn't even fully unpacked. They'd only just been there several hours that evening, so I just had to put everything back in her bag. And we took that back to London.
Deborah Gribble worked out the last 2 months of her contract with the Al Fayed family, nannying for Dodi's younger brothers and sisters. She then brought her shattered dreams home to Auckland.
I mean, what a fantastic job I was offered. It really would have been, I don't know where it would have led or what it would have been like.
And Debbie Gribble's uncertain about her future now. She does say, though, she's got lots of ideas, lots of options. Had, of course, the tragedy in Paris not occurred, had history been different, Debbie would have had a job commuting between London, Paris and Los Angeles. And not a bad life it would have been. That's what Dodi, of course, had planned for her. Well, don't go away. The Feelers, the Christchurch band, are they on the brink of something big? Many believe so. We meet them and hear them later. First, though, that interview. Did Hillary Rodham Clinton convince Americans her husband is not a philanderer, not a fibber? We cross live to Washington. That's next.